Denny Hamlin is one of the drivers that is still very uncertain for his future beyond 2023. As of now, he is committed to at least one more year with Joe Gibbs Racing. But the fact that the sponsors are likely going to give up on him and Joe Gibbs Racing could be a deciding factor in his destiny and speaks volumes about Hamlin's future. What goes against Hamlin's future is the fact that Busch was dealt with in a similar way by his now former team, JGR. And we are currently seeing the last from Hamlin if things don't turn out as he would want them to. Denny Hamlin has spent the last 18 years with JGR, and from 2020 onwards, he is a co-owner of the 2311 racing team along with Michael Jordan. While many thought this was a move that would distance Hamlin from the driving aspect of the sport and focus him more on the managing aspect, Hamlin has proven that he still has the desire and will work to drive in NASCAR. However, fate doesn't seem to be bright for him, mostly because the team is likely to make a manipulation regarding his primary sponsor, FedEx. And now that we've received some bad news from the sponsor itself, it could very well mean that Hamlin is done with NASCAR's driving experience beyond 2023. While many thought the main reason why Hamlin would quit racing would be JGR manipulating its way regarding the sponsorship of FedEx, the primary sponsor of Hamlin. It seems like the sales of FedEx have dropped massively, and the company is experiencing massive losses. Therefore, the company is cutting losses, and one of the biggest losses that it will probably cut is the sponsorship with JGR in NASCAR. This was reported by Adam Stern, who quoted a CNBC article adding, FedEx said Tuesday that its quarterly earnings and sales fell from a year ago and warned of ongoing weakened demand, but said its aggressive cost-cutting measures were softening the blow. Now that FedEx has mentioned their plans for cost-cutting, it's obvious that Hamlin would be among the first people to suffer from these consequences. Mostly because the company wouldn't be interested in investing in him anymore, given the fact that it's not bringing any profits to the company either. Hamlin is one of the most infamous drivers on the grid, and he has been constantly involved in a variety of conflicts with NASCAR and their governance policies. On the other hand, he is currently the best driver that doesn't have a NASCAR championship, notching 48 wins without having won the Cup Series. While Hamlin came close on several occasions, including in 2010 and this season, when Chastain's Hail Mary move knocked him out of contention in the championship four. Close isn't enough, and he lacks the ring to cap his career. That is why he could lose the primary sponsor. And this could be the last straw for JGR, who were rumored to be looking away from Hamlin's contract anyways, but didn't know how to sack him properly without hurting their reputation. One can't help but wonder if JGR had anything to do with FedEx's decision. And to be honest, it's very suspicious that the company is now declaring losses and is likely to exit the NASCAR sport. The fans are not happy with this decision of FedEx, and some of them wrote that sponsors would love to only pay $5 million a year in sponsorship, much closer to $20 million. Other fans pointed out that this is likely going to happen while teams are changing $5+ million a year in sponsorship term, which as of now compromises around 80% of the money that a team is bringing into the NASCAR sport. JGR is also going to suffer from this blow, given the fact that they now have a notorious driver in Ty, who is yet to prove that he knows how to properly handle the pressure of driving for JGR and the overall pressure of performing in the Cup Series. On top of that, FedEx has been known as a long-term sponsor for JGR, and if they decide to abandon Hamlin and his 18-year tenure with JGR, it's likely that Hamlin will be without a seat and will focus himself more on the managing career rather than the driving one. Obviously, we would have been much happier to see Hamlin win the Cup Series sometime in his career, but fate didn't turn out to be in his favor anyway. On the other hand, you have Busch, who won 2 championships with JGR and still got sacked the way he did. Now that Hamlin isn't a reliable source to JGR and is having trouble keeping his sponsor on the team, it's very likely that his fight for a driving seat beyond 2023 will be a battle lost before it even begins. So, what are the plans of the delivery giant regarding their relationship with Denny Hamlin? As of now, everything is uncertain. But what is certain is that they're going to look for ways to cut costs. As long as teams are charging the amount of money they are charging from their sponsors, things like this are going to happen. Obviously, the team owners are pressured in this, and they do not have many options left. Given the fact that the sponsorship money compromises 80% of the total money that the team owners are bringing to the NASCAR family in order to participate in the sport. Just like we said earlier in this video. FedEx's CEO spoke about this problem, issuing this short statement. As we look to the second half of our fiscal year, we are accelerating our progress on cost actions to help offset continued global volume softness. Well, their research is already underway, and soon we're going to get some clarity on Hamlin's future. That is for sure. Until then, we can only guess what is going to happen with the guy who spent 18 years with JGR, but never got the chance to be crowned a world champion. But what kind of driver is Hamlin? Obviously, he's not the most popular, and with the constant conflicts he had with NASCAR, his reputation hasn't been very respectful either. Still, Hamlin has taken a couple of shots at NASCAR recently, most of them due to how the Championship 4 race has been held. Just a few days ago, Hamlin spoke about the final race in Phoenix in the last 3 seasons, adding that it's complete nonsense that just one race determines who is the NASCAR champion that year. He has had a hard time accepting this concept for quite some time, and he did offer a solution that is rather perfect. If he were the one to be asked in this particular situation. He had a hard time accepting this concept for quite some time, and he did offer a solution that is rather perfect if he were the one to be asked in this particular situation. When talking about the final race of the championship, Hamlin said, "In our sport, we're racing against 35 other people, and they can affect the outcome of your championship. So, I think when you spread it out among a bigger sample size, such as a 3-race series, I don't see how that's not actually a positive thing for ratings. People will be compelled every week to tune in because this is the championship round, and I think there's something to be gained there." Obviously, it's a scenario that can't be fulfilled just like that. Given the fact that if you have 3 races that are going to influence the championship outcome, it could be fixed prior to the last race, and the interest of the racing weekend would dramatically drop. This is just one of the reasons why Hamlin has been one of the most hated and disrespected drivers on the grid, apart from being a co-owner of 23XI Racing, a team that has one of the most controversial drivers on the grid, Bubba Wallace. Everything adds up, and while we are disappointed that Hamlin did not win a championship during his 18-year tenure at JGR, no one else is to blame for the fateful outcome. Now, all that is left for us to do is to watch Hamlin's 2023 season and hope that it won't be the last one, and that he will have a couple of more years to try it out in NASCAR. Already in his 40s, retirement should be somewhere close in his plans, and although it's too early to retire in the next year or so, it could be the harsh reality that he would likely be forced to meet. Nevertheless, Hamlin would go down as the driver to have won the most races without a championship. And that's a feature that he would have to live with for the rest of his life if nothing changes in 2023. What do you think about Denny Hamlin and the sponsorship with FedEx? Let us know in the comments below.